has served us well right around the world, served us so well right around the world, we would find connections to one another in a matter of moments. It's one of the reasons why we are so curious, to use a word that my mother would probably prefer than nosiness. It's one of our great gifts, isn't it, the Irish, that wherever we go in the world, we want, as an immigrant nation, we want to make the best of our new lives, and the best way to do that is to befriend your neighbours and to share generously the gifts that you bring with you. So often in the past, Mike, those gifts were the gifts that your grandfather brought. They were gifts of music, of dance. They were very lightly carried and they were easily shared. The kind of gifts that when you share them, they get bigger. They don't get smaller. It's not like sharing the bar of chocolate that Martin and I shared earlier. He got the big bit, I got the small bit. That's one of the minor benefits of being married to a dentist. I can eat as much chocolate as I like. Right, there have to be some benefits being married to a dentist. All I can say in my defense is he wasn't a dentist when I married him. In those days. But it's just so lovely to come here and to know that wherever I go in the world, and it's so true here too, that first of all, as an Irish president, you never go anywhere in the world but the Irish haven't been there in front of you. You know? That's the first thing. And the second thing they have done is that they have created a community that cares about each other, is plugged into each other, looks after each other, that gives a place and a space for the showcasing of Irish culture and heritage, shares it with each other but also shares it with friends. All those people who are so unfortunate not to have Irish blood in the world. We just want to draw them into our great family and make them realise what they're missing. It's a joy to be in the company of people who go to so much bother to love Ireland, to love her culture and to showcase it at its absolute richest and best here. I want to thank the All Ireland Cultural Society of Oregon for all that they have done to bring those wonderful Irish gifts to the heart of life here for the last 70 years. So it's lovely to be able to share your 70th birthday with you and to wish you well now in the next 70 years, please goodness. It's a joy really to come to a place as a stranger and not to feel in the least bit strange. And isn't that a lovely gift that you give? Every time we mention an Irish name, we know exactly where the clan is from. We know the vista, the landscape. Even if you are 2, 3, 4 and 5 generations away from Ireland, you know that you belong to a clan and a family that is interested in one another, cares about one another. And one of the great joys of Ireland in recent years has been the way in which our Irish family here in the United States in particular has been so careful of Ireland's future, has invested so deeply in Ireland, particularly in our peace process. And it's a lovely opportunity for me to say thank you for so many ways in which you have helped us over these years to realise, well, to make the Ireland that so many people left dreaming of and hoping for and believing in but not living to see. We're a very blessed generation to come from an Ireland that is today peaceful and prosperous, whose children don't any longer migrate in large numbers. One of the greatest gifts we gave the world traditionally was our people. Now we've reversed the tide of migration for the first time in 150 years, I have to say, and it is a remarkable thing. It's a wonderful thing and a wonderful gift, but for so many generations we thought of emigration as a disaster, and it was if you lived in Ireland, because all your best were going. It was a disaster. Now we see it differently. We look at you and we look at your lives and we look at what you have done with the gift of being, as your families once were, strangers in a strange place, who brought their genius, their talent, their hard work, their determination and their courage and planted them in strange places and grew great lives. And now we look at our Irish family around the world and we're just mesmerised. And we regard it as one of the greatest gifts you can have, to be an island of some 5 million people and to have 70 million relations around the world. Oh, you're never alone. We also know that your mums and dads and your grandparents and great-grandparents, they came with so little, but they had the biggest hearts imaginable. I just think of all the times when, very often working, in tough jobs, they earned cents and dollars that they sent back to a very poor Ireland in those times had helped educate the coming generations in Ireland, and were the platform on which people like me were able to get an education and able to have the opportunity to stay at home and not to have to emigrate. And so we owe you so much. We will never ever, I don't think, ever be able to repay the debt that we owe to our emigrant family. But I think one of the ways in which we can repay it is to stay deeply in touch with one another, to be connected to one another. I have to say, when I was in Seattle a few years back, and one of the extraordinary things that happened in Seattle, I know that my knowledge of geography isn't great, but boy, when I met people from Portland, and I was saying, gee, that's not exactly just down the road. And they told me how far and how long they had travelled to come to Seattle to see the Irish president. And then I met people from Butte, Montana, who told me how far they had travelled as well. And I thought to myself, these are our family, these are our clan. Isn't it remarkable that some of them 2, 3 and 4 generations away from Ireland, that it still matters so much to them, that they make these remarkable journeys. Journeys of care, journeys of friendship, journeys of family, kith and kin. So the least I could do was to come back and return the compliment. So I want to thank you for all the ways in which you showcase Irish culture, all the work that you do, not just on St. Patrick's Day, which we know is the day when we feel that sense of unity with each other right around the world. And it does give us a thrill to know that we're able to close down streets like Omotesando Street in Tokyo. You know, it's like it's their Fifth Avenue. And to know that every other country says to the Japanese government, can we do that on our national day? And they're told, no, go away. And they say, why? Because the Irish get it. And they go, that's right, the Irish get it, yeah. No problem. And that happens all over the world. And one of the reasons it happens all over the world is because of the genius the Irish have for making friends, for respecting deeply the culture in which they live, making the best of their lives in it, but showcasing that great spirit, that great charism that is the Irish gift for joy, that no matter what came or went, and God knows this morning when we unveiled that monument as the snow was coming down, when we eventually, with the help of the Consul General's umbrella, unveiled the monument, that wonderful, glorious, magnificent piece of work that just speaks of the courage of those generations. When we think of what they invested, and we think of the terrible times they left behind them, and the terrible grief that was in their hearts, and the heartache, and yet how they found that resilient spirit to come here, make new lives, make the best for their kids, and create a life that their grandchildren and great-grandchildren now enjoy. Isn't it a wonderful thing that we gather in their name, in their memory, and that here the spirit that they brought with them is as strong as ever, the heritage, the culture they brought with them stronger than ever, and the sense of connectedness to Ireland, the sense of belonging to one big global clan, as strong as it's ever been. And that there's no shortcut to that. There was no easy way of doing that. That was people did that. That was you taking that torch from them and every generation, taking that baton as a kind of a sacred trust and handing it on so carefully to each generation. It's just such a privilege to be here. It really is a wonderful privilege. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I apologize for bringing a dentist on a snowy day. What else can possibly go wrong? We get the snow and I bring a dentist. But he's a good dentist. And also he's a McAleese, and the McAleeses are good people, are they not? You may wish the blessings of the Christmas season, and I hope that every single one of you do what the Irish do wherever they are in the world and whatever faces them. At times of joy and times of celebration, we find the space to express the joy, and we always express it in each other's company. We love company. We love a crowd, don't we? We're a great people, evidently. We're a great people for a crowd, and that's one of the great things that you bring to each other, the sense of clan, of kin, and of community. May God bless you, and have a wonderful Christmas. Thank you for the lovely welcome.